I think there's a heat wave going on almost everywhere in the world right now, so take it as your sign to stay hydrated. Very important. Hi, hello, what's up? My name is Tina. I love to talk about books, but currently I'm volunteering in Japan until November, so I'm talking a little bit also about Japan. This is the new scenery of the videos. This is my room, and let's take a peek at the view I have from my room. Isn't it so peaceful and calm? I love it. Not rambling too much about it in this video. You'll know about it a little bit more in 2 weeks because the video of next week will be the summer wind video. I can't wait. I'm so ready for it. There are two other French volunteers here, a couple. We bought some sweets to watch some horror movies to get in the ambience. I'm so glad about it. I'm so ready. I can't wait. I can't wait. All of that just to say that in 2 weeks you'll know a bit more about where I am right now. And today's video is gonna be about the mid-year freakout. You saw it in the title already. I had so much fun doing it last year and I have so much fun watching it on YouTube. Without further ado, let's just jump into it. The first question is, what's your best book so far? And I've been blessed this year by having so many new favorites. It's so difficult to choose, but I definitely have three in mind. The first is To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. It got through me so much. Quickly, it's the story of a father who is raising two children on his own in the south of United States. It's taking place in the 30s. And the way that this man is raising his children and how it is narrated from the point of view of the child, which is something I don't like usually, it's just so beautiful and it's written in a very easy way. You can get into it with no difficulty for every level. It's not a complicated classic novel to read from. Cannot stress enough how much I love it, so I'm not gonna ramble too much about it. But this month I've read two new favorite books, so that's why I'm so glad I waited until the end of the month to do this video. It's Permanent Record by Edward Snowden. I cannot yap enough about this book. I'm so mad and so sad about the fact that it's not talked that much about. This is obviously a story about how he became a whistleblower with the scandal of mass surveillance by the United States and especially by the NSA. This is retracing in such a smart way how he came interested by computers and how internet impacted his life when he was an early teenager and how he came to work for one of the most important security branch of the government. And even though I would say it's only near the end that he's talking about the actual fact of denouncing this mass surveillance, two-thirds of the book at the beginning is how and why he came to take this decision. But I find it so interesting because he has very near my values political stakes about democracy, how it is important to give information to the public. And I'm so mad because I and we, I think, forgot so easily how we introduced technologies in our lives and how they are everywhere around us, how we cannot do without them today, and how they led to spreading informations to governments without us wanting to do so. And it's so infuriating, and that's why I'm super sad about the fact that not that much people have read it. I think only 50,000 rates on Goodreads. I think a little bit more people read it because not everybody rates a book on Goodreads. But man, this book should be everywhere. I don't understand. It should be everywhere on everybody's shelf. Yeah, whether you're interested in technologies or not. If you love to hear a little bit about political things, to read memoir, to learn things, just be aware that sometimes it's a little bit technical and I'm sure he oversimplified it. But if you're interested in journalism, in freedom of speech, in internet, please just read this book. It's one of my favorite ever, for sure. Not yapping too much. I'll yap about it on the next videos for sure. On my best books of the year videos again, and on my all-time favorite again for sure. So be prepared. Another all-time favorite is The Father's Bloody Sons by Helen Orsini. How beautiful and heartbreaking this book is. I am so in awe of how the author is writing, how beautifully he's writing. This is the story of two women in Afghanistan and how their destiny is linked. And this is portraying emotions in such a perfect way. This is happening late 90s, early 2000s. So this is picturing how war is ongoing there and how it's impacting the life of the citizens there. And I'll just say that this is so beautiful, and I'm even more in awe because of how the author, a man, he's writing about women. Stunning, gorgeous. Give me more of it. Give me like 10,000 more of it. New favorite author for sure. Oh man, I'm spoiling one of the next question. So yeah, this is a gem. This is gold. Next question is best sequel, and I have to say Clash of Kings by George R. Martin, which is the second book in the A Song of Ice and Fire. Yeah, A Song of Ice and Fire series, the Game of Thrones series. Addicting, addicting, even though we may never have the end. But that's okay. The most important thing is the journey. And next we also have, for sure, Catching Fire by Susan Collins. Most of you already know. You have been in the right for so many years, and I have been in the wrong for not having read it. But, ooh, this is so good. I've cried. I've cried within the first 50 pages, so that's telling a lot. And I'm also spoiling the next question. Ooh, all right. Not talking too much about it anymore. Next question is, what's your biggest disappointments? And I have first The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. I wanted to love this book so much, but the choice of narration and the structure of the book lost me so much that I couldn't and struggled to get attached to the characters. I didn't get that Pecola was the main character, and thus I was just completely lost. And I felt even more validated when I saw at the end of the book that the author herself thought that it was not the best choice. So I can't wait to read other books because it was her debut novel. So I'm sure I have a book within her range that I will love. So can't wait to read other book. But this one was a disappointment, unfortunately for me. Next we have The Burning God by R.F. Kuang. I wanted to love this book so much too. That's why there are disappointments. It's a disappointment in the sense that I was expecting to love more those books. And The Burning God was just the peak of me being fed up with the main character Rin, because she was going in circles and circles, and there were so many repetitions. The vengeance and the blue. If she was portraying the main character Rin as a kind of good people turning into a villain, I would have loved a different ending. I think it was too much for me. Next, I have Earthlings by Sayaka Murata. It just felt like she took the same elements and she just wrote it in a different way with even the weirdest themes, but somehow it didn't bring me anything in that sense. I didn't get anything from this book despite being disgusted, which is eventually the point. The end is so messed up. Oh, goodness. And in this way, it's kind of interesting, but not for me. No, I prefer Convenience Store Woman. That's it. Next question is releases that I have not read yet, and this is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soul by V.E. Schwab. I am hearing so many people yapping about this book and how good this is. This has vampires. It's for me. I'm sure I'm gonna love it. I tried to get into it without too much expectations, so I can't wait to read this. But I'm waiting for autumn season. Seems perfect. Next question is, what are your anticipated releases? And of course, we have A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandana. I can't wait. The publishing date of this book have been pushed so many times, but if it's for it to be even more good, I'm all in. I'm all in. Just, I can't wait. I can't wait to read this book. And I think it's coming out in 1 week. It's going out the 15th of July. I can't wait. I'm gonna read it for sure this month, I think. We also have Databases. I'm so intrigued by this book. I think I'm gonna try to read it during November days, maybe in September, I don't know. And I've had mixed feelings about R.F. Kuang's book. For now, I didn't quite love the Poppy White trilogy, but I loved Babel. So I hope I'm gonna love this one, and I'd love to read Yellowface one day. And I'm super excited about We Love You, Bunny by Mona Awad. How surprised I was to hear a month some month ago that she was going out with a new book. I'm gonna jump on it for sure. Next question is, what are your biggest surprises? And the first one is Funny Story by Emily Henry, and I was surprised by how much I loved it. I wasn't expecting to find another book above Beach Read. I loved Beach Read so much. I connected with it. And I connected so much with Funny Story in some way, especially because of the theme of how you can lose yourself when you are in love with someone, how much you forget yourself because you're building your life around the other person. And Miles, so precious. I love it. Another surprise is Foster by Claire Keegan. I didn't connect that much with these small things, even though the story is really beautiful, but it was the writing that I did not click with it, and I was surprised by how much I was moved by this book within under 100 pages, which is crazy to me. I don't usually connect with novellas. They are not for me. But this one, it worked. It worked so much. Next question is, who is your new favorite author? But I cheated. I have two. I'm putting in plural on my question. Firstly, I have Susan Collins. How much I loved her Hunger Games trilogy is insane. I knew it was YA, I knew it was beloved, but because I was not into it when I was a teenager, I was expecting to not love it as much. Like for Twilight, I think if I was reading Twilight nowadays, I would not love it. But because I've read it as a teenager, it's working. Should reread it someday and be shocked by the writing, I think. All of that just to say that I was really hesitating to put this on the surprise category, but also this is not a complete surprise because I wanted to love this so much and I loved it. She's kind of a genius also for me, putting so important and crucial themes such as authoritarian regime, authoritarian governments in YA books. And I wanted to read the prequel of the story, The Ballad of the Songbirds, and the other, I don't remember, The Sunrise of Reaping. But I have other books on my TBR that have been on my TBR for so long that I have to read that are a priority. But I want to throw them all and read those two right now. But I'm containing myself and I'm proud of it. And another new favorite author, you will not be surprised because I talked about it earlier, is Khaled Hosseini. I yapped enough about him earlier, but oh, my heart. Next question is, who are your new favorite character? And I have two. I have Atticus from To Kill a Mockingbird because, of course, he's so precious. I already talked about him, but the way he raised his children and his values and well, yeah, nah, if you know, you know. But the other one is Miles. I already talked about him a little bit earlier, but how kind and how funny. Yeah, Miles from Funny Story. Like Mariam from The Thousand Splendid Suns, but I don't want to think too much about her. Otherwise, I'm gonna cry too. She's a bonus. She's a bonus. Okay. So the next question is, what book made me cry? And I spoiled you earlier, but Catching Fire made me cry within the first 50 pages because there's some uprising going, and at some point the government starts, the military starts to shoot crowd, and they shot an elderly man and touch my elderlies, and I'm gonna cry. Not ashamed of that. And another book that made me cry because of its impact, its permanent record, it made me take some steps back and ponder on what I would have done in his case and if I were in his shoes. And it moved me so much in the way that he threw his life away to give information to the public. And just thinking about it now is making my tears coming up. But what a selfish move from him, and for what? It had a huge impact because there were some legal improvements within the legislation. But when you think of today and how much we are on social medias and how much information we gather, it just moved me so much. He had such a beautiful life working for such a prestigious governmental branch, having a good income, living in Hawaii, in Japan too, and yeah, he threw it away to give us informations. And I think that's so beautiful that at the end I cried. Okay. And Surprisingly, I didn't cry for 10,000 Splendid Suns, but I had the tears really near. I think I couldn't let myself think about this book too much because I would have cried also so much. I could have cried if I let myself, I think. It reminded me how privileged we are. Please read this book also. It's so good. So good. The end. The end. On the contrary, a book that made me happy is Emily Ward's Compendium of Lost Tales. I was so happy when this book came out. I was so happy to be reunited with the characters. Even though we don't see much of Wendell, it's really much more about Emily, but their dynamic is so precious. And yeah, it made me happy, even though I was a little bit sad at the end of this book that the series is finished. I want more. I want more of them. So please, at the faucet, do more. A prequel, a sequel, something. Short stories. I don't know. Give us something. I'm gonna reread the trilogy at some point. Not now because I have so many books I want to read in my life, but for sure one day it's gonna happen. Next question is best books to movies adaptation, and for sure, without thinking, the Hunger Games trilogy. So good, so good. But also Game of Thrones. Does series fall upon this question? I think so. Yeah, works. Yeah, Game of Thrones, but not the end, not the last season. We must forget about this season. Next is what is your most beautiful book? And unfortunately, I don't have any because I'm traveling and I don't buy physical books because it's heavy on my bag. I have nothing to show you on this video, sorry, but back home it would be the first volume of a special edition of The Hunger Games. For sure, that was gifted to me, but I was gifted it last year, so does it count? Not sure. Next question is what books are you most excited about to read before the end of the year? And of course, I have A Man Called Ovi by Frederick Backman. I've never read any of this book at this point. This is a shame, a scandal, so I can't wait to read it. I think I'm going to start it tomorrow. So excited about it. I also have Project Hail Mary. I've heard so much also about this book. I can't wait to read it. I think I'm going to read this summer, especially because there is a movie coming out about it. Ooh, can't wait to read the book fast, fast, fast and see the movie. I have Assassin's Quest, of course, by Robin Hobb. Can't wait to finish the trilogy of the Assassins. The Wagger, which is a book that was gifted to me for my Christmas advent calendar by my boyfriend, so I can't wait to read. This is a historical non-fiction, I think. And I think I'm gonna read it when I'm gonna be back in France, so I can read the physical book because I've read Emma on the Kobo and it's not the same experience because I had it physically. I wanted to read it this year, but not the same. Not the same. Next, I have The Lion Woman of Tehran by Marjan Kamali. I've read The Stationery Shop and absolutely loved it. And that's also a shame that I have not read her new book, which is not new anymore. It came out last year. And also Lost Souls Meet Under Full Moon. I've read Lonely Castle in the Mirror 2 years ago and it was one of my favorite book of the year, so I can't wait to read this one. So that's it. That's a mid-year wrap. I'm so glad about it, guys. I'm not gonna yap too much about how time is flying by. Just a little quick stats wrap. According to Storygraph, I've read mostly romance. Mangas first, of course, because it's easier to read a lot of mangas. But romance? Really surprised by this. And according to Fable, it's fantasy. Of course, I read more fiction than non-fiction. For my TBR that I've completed through the year, I've read 22 books out of 38, which is super good. I'm on good tracks. Also, thank you for all the new faces around here. I hope you'll find your way around this little corner of internet. This makes me so happy. And as always, guys, thank you for clicking. Thank you for watching till the end. Mostly, thank you for being nice. I hope you loved this video and thus to see you on the next one. Bye!